Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Maggie Tai. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi volunteers provide daily supplies and medical assistance to a refugee family. A Tzu Chi volunteer is now healed from his phobia after joining the recycling station. A single mother raises 3 children alone despite facing many life difficulties. In Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, a Pakistani refugee, Seema, is a single mother raising 3 children alone while facing financial difficulties. Her 13-year-old son had to ride the bicycle to take his sister to school, who suffers from mobility issues. However, after his bike was stolen, they needed to walk to school. Upon learning their situation, Tzu Chi volunteers brought them second-hand bicycles and daily supplies, as well as arranging a medical check-up for the daughter. Tzu Chi volunteers in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor delivered 2 bicycles, backpacks, and some other living supplies they collected to Seema's house. Seema's 13-year-old son Akif rides the bike cheerfully because he and his sister needed to go to school.
His bicycle was stolen, so they must walk to school. His sister has some mobility issues, hence it often took them more than half an hour to walk. Luckily, a Tzu Chi brother and sister donated their old bikes after they fixed it.
Before that, we don't have bicycle. We was too late for the school, so now we can go properly.
The single mother Seema raises her 3 children with mere incomes. Therefore, the supplies delivered by the volunteers are very precious for them.
I'm no buy for me shoes. 6 years, I'm no for buy. I'm every time using for my gift, my friends, my children. All can my children no using, I'm using. This time you give, I'm using.
Her youngest daughter suffers from epilepsy and has mobility issues. Seema is very worried about her.
We still don't know the causes for her mobility issue, so we need Tzu Chi's help. We've taken her to see a bone doctor to assess the medical treatment she needs.
The hugs is their way to express their deep gratitude. The volunteers have not only brought them aid supplies, they've also lit up their life with love and hope for the future in the foreign land. A crime school in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia hosted a field trip for students to learn about sorting recyclables at the Tzu Chi recycling station. In addition to pursuing academic excellence, the volunteers hope the students can also practice the concept of recycling in daily life. This is how everyone can put in some efforts to protect the earth. A crime school in Kuala Lumpur arranged a field trip for students to visit a Tzu Chi recycling station during the break.
The cram school teacher is also a volunteer here, so she brought her students to the recycling station. She wants the children to learn to do recycling and practice it in their daily life.
Students have learned the knowledge of recycling, and they perform well on the pop quiz right after the class. The students learned the concept fast, but it was not until they practiced sorting recyclables physically that they know the value of these discarded items.
These recycled items can be turned into many other things. We can take the disposed item and make it into something useful. For example, the water bottle can become a vase.
The students learn to plant in the recycled plastic bottles. This creative gardening class has cultivated their awareness to protect the environment.
I really enjoy planting because it can freshen the air in the earth.
The students also enjoy reading the used books at the readings corner in the recycling station.
We want them to know they can donate old books for others to read, and they can also buy the books they like by putting money in the bamboo coin bank.
然后把书本结缘回去。
The reading corner has extended the value of the used books and continued to spread the knowledge to people who enjoys reading them. At the Tzu Chi Recycling Point at Taoyuan Psychiatric Center, volunteers store recyclables twice a week. Many of the volunteers here have suffered from illnesses, with some being cancer patients. Battling with illnesses have made them realize the importance of seizing every opportunity to volunteer.
I come twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays to transport the recyclables. I've been doing this for more than 20 years now. The more I do, the healthier I become.
The Tzu Chi Recycling Point at Taoyuan Psychiatric Center operates twice a week. Many of the volunteers here suffer from a variety of illnesses.
After I feel ill, I've realized we'd rather sleep in bedrooms than hospital beds. I was diagnosed with cancer 5 years ago. The Bodhisattva saved my life, so I can continue to do more work.
I've fallen ill before. I broke my ribs 2 years ago and had to rest for nearly half a year. Back then, it hurt so much that I could not do recycling. After I felt better, I seized the moment to come out to do recycling again.
There are also people who cherish their good health to do good deeds.
I've always been very healthy. I'm grateful for being healthy. If other people are unable to do the work, I will try to do double the work.
Under the heat, everyone works until they're soaked with sweat. However, they also hope people can be more considerate.
I'm afraid of bugs. I just handle a bag of recyclables with lots of bugs in it. It's important for people to sort the recyclable goods before bringing them here. Do not mix kitchen waste with paper scraps.
They also hope that more people can dedicate themselves to do recycling so they can better protect the environment.
During recycling, healed Tzu Chi volunteers Chen Jianren's phobia. Before 2003, he had a serious phobia which deeply affected his daily life, and he had to take antidepressant medications. Since Tzu Chi volunteer Luo Shuiqing invited him to join in doing recycling, he has become both physically and mentally healthy for the past 15 years. Putting on a helmet, Chen Jianren operates his skid steer loaders familiarly.
If I told him the iron is full, if I need him to carry some recycled materials, he will say yes without hesitation.
Luo Shuiqing and Chen Jianren have known each other for over 15 years. When they first met, Chen was suffering from serious phobia.
想到以前发病的时候，血压一直飙高，
When I had the phobia, my blood pressure peaks up to about 220, and every day I felt like it's the end of the world. I was very depressed.
I told Brother Chen that our recycling station is very close to his house. Would you like to come and try?
After I started to do recycling, I put my focus here. With medications, my body has become better and healthier.
Since 2013, he has been in charge of handling PET bottles. Due to its large quantity in Tzu Chi Banqiao grounds, he has made it a routine to go there to help every day.
PET bottles we got needs 12 cars to carry them. A car can carry around 1,600 kilograms. 1,600 times 12, that's the total weight of the day.
Summer is the peak season for cold beverages, hence they have more PET bottles to recycle.
When we finish our job, we always sweat and our clothes were all soaking wet. However, sweating is good for our body and improves the metabolism.
Now that Chen is healthy, he has only one more wish.
其实我的感受，我是觉得说，最好以后都没有保特瓶，让地球能活久一点。
In our next report, we will meet a 69-year-old solitary senior, Zhu Wenbin. He is a Tzu Chi Care recipient who eventually became a recycling volunteer. With Tzu Chi volunteers' companionship and encouragement, he has also decided to undergo Tzu Chi's volunteer training. He remarked that he should reciprocate Tzu Chi's assistance.
When we first took on this case, he lived in the basement. He lost his parents when he was only 3 years old. In the beginning, he rejected our help. He did not talk and was not good at expressing himself, since he has always lived alone. I remember clearly that after we cleaned up his place, he told the neighbors, "I'm like a king now, living in a palace." In fact, he lives in the basement. We could not partition his living quarters into different rooms, but we made a new bed for him.
四处就是他的道场，公园、马路，他去捡环保。
He picks up recyclables on the streets and in the parks. Since he has many chronic illnesses, we told him not to work too hard. We reminded him not to injure himself by carrying heavy objects. He once had tuberculosis, and he suffers from gastric ulcers. He told me he knows what to do. He listens to the master and follows the principle, do what is right.
说的话，他每一句都懂，因为对的事做就对了。
I'm very happy. Very happy. I've realized the purpose of life. I'm grateful to the Tzu Chi brothers and sisters for encouraging me. Thank you.
Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Zhenyi used to work in the red light districts when she was young. She had 3 children from 2 marriages and suffered several mental breakdowns over the years. However, she has never given up on her family, and the close mother-child bonds are her biggest strength when facing life's challenges.
Ning Jiaxian is 23 years old. When he was ill, his mental competence was impaired. While attending school, he was often bullied by classmates. It was even harder to find a job in society. So the mother had no choice but to take him whenever she went.
在这里做你觉得开心吗？
桥到船头自然直。
没有，你要讲你心里的状态。
状态啊？
对呀，是
能过一天就过一天吧。
The mental capacity stayed at the elementary school stage. Fortunately, the mother has taken very good care of him, so he is quite stable.
就讲你想要讲的，
讲不出口啊。你知道你很辛苦，可是不晓得要怎么样才能表达。
Chen Zhenyi worked in the red light district when she was young. After 2 marriages, the 3 children were just like heaven's challenge for her. They each had different problems, starting with the eldest daughter, who first had a visceral translocation.
心血管太细。
The cardiovascular veins were too thin to deliver a sufficient amount of blood supply to the brain, so she often fainted while studying.
The youngest son was abnormally rebellious, and his condition worsened. Chen Zhenyi raised the 3 children alone and spent 20 years in the darkness. She had been previously rescued twice from suicidal attempts, and it was her mother's tears that made her wake up.
我不可以这么不孝。
I have to be filial. I cannot let my mother suffer.
After accepting the Dharma practices and cherishing life, the children can now accept their mother's past.
Our relationship has strengthened. The mother-child bond makes us feel that no matter how hard the challenge is or how tired we are, as long as we have each other, we're still blessed.
With maternal love to teach the children, there might be many daily challenges, but nothing is going to break this mother-child bond.
In Changsha, Hunan Province, Tzu Chi volunteer pay regular home visits to little Yan's family. Her mother had stayed in the local psychiatric ward for mental illnesses for over a month. Both mother and daughter suffer severe separation anxiety. After communicating with doctors, the mother was deemed stable enough to return home. For more than 3 years, Tzu Chi volunteers have continued to accompany them and had gradually opened the heart of little Yan's mother.
Without fear of the heat, Tzu Chi volunteers walk into the alleyways. They are used to paying home visits to little Yan's family, who lives in an old home on the hillside. Her dad is slightly mentally delayed, her grandmother bears many chronic illnesses, and her mother was just recently admitted to a psychiatric ward. The mother-daughter duo is very close, so Tzu Chi volunteers especially make custom t-shirts for them to wear together.
Everyone was saying that it does the mother good if she can see her daughter more often. So we made custom shirts with the image of the mother-daughter duo on it. This way it's like little Yan is always by her side.
With custom clothing in hand, the Tzu Chi volunteers drove little Yan to the hospital to visit her mother. Both mother and daughter wore the t-shirts and took a photo together.
带你回去，好不好？好不好？好。
到他家里去的时候，他那个时候很害怕见生人。
The first time when we were at her house, she was very afraid to see strangers. She hid behind the door and only peek at us. After monthly visits, she finally started to open up, and even to the point where she will be the first one to greet us. Every time she takes the photos with us, she's always so joyful. She will always clean herself up very nice and look beautiful. Whenever she wasn't home, the house would be a mess, so we really hope that she can be at home and be stable. She really wants to be with her family, not in a hospital.
After discussions between the volunteers and the doctors, they could finally take little Yan's mother home after 2 days.
两个名人见面叫做你好你好，谢谢你，谢谢你。背靠背，这边，背靠背，这样，背靠背，抓紧，背靠背叫做考验。你到医院你就经受了考验，知道不？知道了。
Little Yan started to get car sick. Her mother started to worry.
你知道他坐车晕车不？所以他想的是来接妈妈，这还是来。那你知道怎么回去啊？
It was better for little Yan to go home on the back of her father's motorcycle. Little Yan's mother felt very comfortable with the volunteers. She listened carefully and agreed to not sleep alone at nighttime. Every time the volunteers leave, little Yan's mother will always wave goodbye all the way to the front doors.
In Kaohsiung, Taiwan, a sister-brother pair in college lost their father recently to an illness. Since their father was an alcoholic when he was alive, in their house there is a room filled with empty bottles. Tzu Chi volunteer helped them clean their house and also accompany the brother and sister as they mourn their father's passing.
The volunteers moved the sofa and cleared out the aisle, ready to clean up this room. Inside the room, there were layers of boxes filled with empty alcohol bottles. To clear out these bottles, more than 10 volunteers had to work together to sort it all out.
Before my father passed away, he drank a lot of alcohol and was too embarrassed to recycle the bottles. Then he simply puts all the empty bottles in that room.
The father of this single-parent family, who was addicted to alcohol, recently passed away due to illness. Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for this sister-brother pair ever since their father passed away.
After losing their father, they are feeling quite low emotionally. If we can clean up the house, they can enjoy the spacious area and gradually overcome their feelings of sadness.
The volunteers have thought of a way to recycle the bottles. Paying attention to details, the volunteers are like family, caring for the sister-brother pair who lost their beloved father.
When we felt really helpless, you came to help us. You made us feel like that at least we have someone to rely on. Thank you very much.
Upon learning that Tzu Chi is promoting the donation of stem cells to help leukemia patients, the sister immediately agreed to get tested in order to become a potential donor. Having lost their father, the sister-brother pair is determined to join the volunteers to do good deeds so they may also help other people in need.
In Beito, Taipei, there lives a senior who is mentally challenged. He makes his living by collecting recyclables, but he lacks energy to organize the collected items. The accumulation in the house has caused negative impacts on his overall health. Hence, the borough had reached out to Tzu Chi volunteers to help him clean his living environment. The 60-something-year-old Mr. Pan makes his living by collecting recyclables, but lacks energy and time to organize them. Over time, this messy living environment has become harmful to his health.
His health condition is poor because he stored too many items in his house. He told me that he couldn't sleep because he was constantly bit by cockroaches, mice, and fleas. So he asked me if anyone can help him clean his house.
The borough had asked Tzu Chi volunteers for help. Under the hot weather, more than 40 volunteers removed the stored items and sorted them accordingly. Those who deep cleaned the house from top to bottom.
Who can imagine that there would be a household like this in such a lovely community? We should care about the people around us more often so we can reach out to help when they need it.
When you are still young, you should give back more to society. If you have the ability, you should help those who are in need because we actually receive more in return.
The task was completed within 2 hours with the volunteers' teamwork. Mr. Pan finally has a neat and clean house to call home now. In Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteer hosted a vegetarian luncheon in the National Highway Police Bureau to promote vegetarianism to police officers. Meanwhile, employees of the Freeway Bureau went to Liming Recycling Station to physically learn how to store recyclable goods. Everyone had great feedbacks. Employees of Freeway Bureau came to Taishan Liming Recycling Station to learn to do recycling, and the experience has deeply impacted some of them.
I can't believe how much trash we've created. We must start from ourselves to be environmentally friendly, and we should stop ordering beverages in disposable cups in the office.
In fact, doing recycling is already the last step to protect the environment. The best way to love the earth is to protect it from the beginning, which is to lessen the waste of resources.
I've accumulated many plastic bags at home, but today I've learned how to sort plastic bags in my house, and then I'll bring them to Tzu Chi's recycling stations.
The volunteers not only encourage everyone to practice recycling at home, they also promote vegetarian diet activity. They've prepared vegetarian lunch boxes and noodle soups to invite everyone in the National Highway Police Bureau to join the vegetarian feast.
After we've experienced the vegetarian food today, I'm sure we can all feel the health benefits of vegetarianism. This is what we should pursue in the future.
I ate noodle and rice vermicelli today, and I felt it's lighter and less burden to the body. In fact, I usually eat vegetarian meals once a week.
After the vegetarian luncheon, the volunteers also performed violin and drama for employees in the police bureau to calm their mind from the busy working schedule. In Northern California, the Cupertino city government hosted the first emergency preparedness fair. They invited both governmental and civilian organizations to teach the public on how to prepare for potential large-scale disasters. Information of disaster relief organizations were also provided. We will leave you with these images and thank you for joining us. Goodbye.